Hello YouTube, Deranged Clown here with the deranged hair. I just want to do a video. I'm going to try to keep this short. Yeah, good luck with that. You know, yeah, I'm not very good at keeping things short. But I'm certainly going to try. And I'm going to start out by pointing out that what I'm going to say is not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm just stating some facts, and if someone can gain from that or benefit from the encouragement, then hey, then that's good. But yeah, I'm afraid this video will probably be a little bit long-winded because it involves language and words, and I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that. But it involves speech impediments. Now, those of you who may know, I used to have a speech impediment, a stammer, which is a mild stutter. I used to have it. I got past it. Um, it's just fine. Some people don't get that I got past it. That's fine. That's on them. I really don't care. Um, but what I want to talk about is another speech impediment, one that is probably more devastating to the person than even a stutter or a stammer, and that's the rhodotism. Rhodotism, and it's the inability or difficulty in saying the letter R. And linguistically, the letter R, especially the hard R, are you going to the park? Are ye matey? You know, art. That's hard to say. And so what happens is if you have a native English speaker and they're learning how to talk, usually the last thing that one of the last parts of the English language that native speaker will master will be saying hard R's all the time. Are we going to the park? Are we going to the art show? Sort of thing. Which for us is just normal, but it takes time to learn. And in fact, the component of baby talk is the lack of R's. But the expectation is that the person eventually learns how to use the letter R. And if they become an adult, and if they're not using the letter R, then I think there's a calculus that goes on in the listener's head. First thing they probably think of is, well, how old is this person? Oh, well, they should know how to use R's. The next question is, are they a native English speaker? Because if you get into, other languages, there's sounds that um, exist in English, for example, that don't exist elsewhere. And the hard R being used a lot is one of those things. I'm studying Ukrainian, and one of the things is that there's sounds that are completely different to me. So people understand, okay, well, you're learning English as a second language. It's fine. We get it. You're learning. Um, Even Spanish speakers, for example, because they have the R, they have the R. That's a soft R. And it's kind of hard for them to learn how to use the hard R's constantly in English. Um, and the other exception to that would be if they come from a certain region of the U.S. and for some reason they drop the R's from their words. And that's a dialect thing, though. That's option. They know how to use the R, but they choose to just drop the R because that's how dialects work. You take the foundational English language rules and you kind of play with them a little bit and tweak them and, ignore some and emphasize others, and you have a dialect. But if someone does not fall into either of those categories, all three of those above categories, the assumption is there's something wrong with their head. And that's the worst one. The most mild one is, what are you saying? And you kind of have to sit, and the person will talk and talk and talk and talk, and it'll be like, you'll just be listening, and you're just like, what? What? And you're just kind of listening for those R's, because that's part of learning how to use R's is you intuitively listen for them too. And that's just part of the subconscious part of speaking English is those R's. And if you're not hearing R's, you're just like, well, what are you saying? I used to work at a fast food place, I remember. And I remember I was in drive-through. I was on the cash register for drive-through. And one of the guys that went through the drive-through pulled up to the window, and he said, "You got to get an English-speaking person on that headset because I did not understand a word that they said." And it's because they struggle with the letter R. And then I told my boss that, and that may have been taken wrong, but I just, it was not meant to be a critique. I mean, bear in mind, a lot of the reason why I got past my stammer was by being thrown onto drive-through with the headset. Some of you who may know, some of the previous attempts I was doing on the headset were pretty comical, but eventually I did get past my stammer, so that's good. But still, I mean, I think that may have been taken wrong, but look, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with the speech impediment. And while there have been improvements in speech impediments involving stammers and stutters, there has also been advancements in helping people with their rhodotism. And they have a lot of good therapies, and they can teach people how to say their R's as an adult. So, I mean, it's out there. The speech therapy's there. Go for it. It's there. And it's really good stuff. I mean, I know personally, from having, had a stammer, that, you can get past a speech impediment. It's fine. You can do it. You may need a little help from a speech therapist, but it's possible. They'll teach you things. And it's a whole lot better than having people think you're doing baby talk because, you're struggling with your R's, and you're a native English speaker, and you're not from a certain region in the US, and you're not, a baby, and you're still talking like one. That's worse than going and seeing a speech therapist and saying, "Hey, teach me how to say R's." The ability's there, the techniques are there, so go for it. And really a speech impediment, it's just a roadblock. It really is. And you just get the skill set, you get past that roadblock, and off you go. And your life gets better, it's simplified, everything. So anyways, I have gone way too long on this video, so I will end it. So